Rumor has it. Ooh, rumor has it.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Gauntlet, where we go everything esports news. I'm your host, Captain Zeus, while I'm co-host JT and Novaverse. And we kind of got some breaking news and rumors going on for you. Sinatra's gone. Jinmu's gone. Jinmu? Janu. Who is Jinmu? Pajion, if that's how you pronounce his name, he's gone. And Baby Bay leaving? Possibly. The point of the story is Overwatch League is dead, and that's it. Bye. Just kidding, guys. Don't leave.
Can you blame them that they're getting paid more money?
Yes, do tell us.
Reportedly.
How is the pay structure going on for that?
Like 3 times more. Just
Mama.
The early estimates of the armchair people who like to estimate value is saying that they're getting paid $20K a week. I'm sorry, $20K a month.
For what?
To go and play Valiant.
$20K a month for a game they ain't even out yet.
Yeah, that's like $240 a year.
Dang.
It's in beta.
It is in beta,
even
and they're like, we're gonna pay you almost $300K a year just to play the game.
Yep.
Overwatch League, what are you doing? Like, you have Blizzard, one of the biggest gaming companies out there, and you only pay them what was it, $5K?
Something like that.
And then for Vancouver, you seclude them for 2 weeks to prep for a game, and then switch them to a different region. Great management part on you guys.
It's disturbing. I mean, I don't blame Baby Bay for wanting to leave, if he does choose to leave, because he's kind of peaked in Overwatch, and I'm a fan of his.
Huge.
But can we ever say he's really going to gain back what he did 2 years ago? Probably not.
Probably not.
Do it in a game? Who knows? Could he make a whole lot more money in a new game? Yeah, 100%. And let's be real, they're probably not going to have a major tournament for at least a year. So, just
they're getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah, get pocket $200K to learn how to play a new game. Go for it.
Sinatra, speaking of Valorant, he left to be on the Sentinels esports team for Valorant as well, which from sources he's been looking to leave for a while. And if you look at his little blog that he put out giving the detail, he was done with the game for a while. He fell out of it. He was like, I'm not into this. He says the hero band basically effed it all up. He doesn't even like playing the game anymore. And I can't blame him. I wasn't a big fan of the hero band either when it first came out.
Still not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, talking about Sinatra, like, could you imagine? Like, he's already accomplished basically what's the goal, and that's to win a championship, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my man, pinnacle Overwatch League, winning a championship with a phenomenal team. You even get a skin dedicated to you, a Doomfist skin dedicated to you for winning championship MVP. And then, I mean, okay, what else is there now? You know what I mean?
Go make that money.
Exactly. I already beat the whole goal of this league. Why don't I just go make some money now? What's the point of playing something that, I'm not making as much money and I'm not finding any enjoyment in?
And what made him good was he was like very good with his aim. He's a very consistent aimer. So he's going to be able to cross those skills over. So what would not make him a championship caliber player there? Nothing. Like he's still going to win things. So as long as he finds his way to a good team, which I'll be honest, I don't know anything about that league and their team structure because it's not out and they're not playing tournaments.
It's in beta.
And no one even understands that game to a very high level yet. So I'm not hopping on that bandwagon until, a meta gets figured out, at least.
Not yet.
Awkward.
Maybe never.
That was gross. Don't do that again.
I won't. It's been a long day. So
we've had two people retire besides, Sinatra leaving earlier this week, Jay Janu and his head coach, was it head coach?
Head coach.
His head coach, Pajan, or Parmesan, as I'd like to say, because I can't pronounce it, Asians. But yeah, both leaving the same day, dude. Like, what's up with that? That goes to the rumors that the players and apparently the coaches as well are fed up with the management of the org. And we knew, like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, last week, that all the players took the name Vancouver Titans out of their bio, and rumor had it that they were going to leave, and so far the rumor seems to have some truth to it.
It's sad because they are a very good team, and if management problems kill a championship run, that's sad.
It's pathetic.
Very, very much so.
They were second to San Francisco last year. That was all you saw last season. Vancouver, San Francisco, and then Shanghai, like that one stage, and then Vancouver, San Francisco, back and forth, and now people are leaving. It's still rumor. We don't know the concrete reason why these guys are leaving, or if the rumor's true. But from what it seems like, it's just management, being terrible.
I think it's a really bad sign for a game when all your professional players, first off, are leaving, and second off, decide to take scrims with other professional teams in other games. Like, that never happens. Middle of the season. Yeah, that never happens. A lot of these pro players across games are friends and friendly. They stream, they talk to each other. They're in the same scene. They're in esports together. And I have no problem with that. I have huge problems in the middle of the season to take a scrim with a team in another game. Like, you can't let that happen. Like, Blizzard needs to do something about that if they want their competitive game to last. 'Cause otherwise, all your good talent's going to just disappear.
The worst thing, too,
it's already happening.
The beginning of this season, before the season started, we lost how many? So many good casters. We lost Puckett. I don't even remember the other dude's names. I know you do.
Monty,
thank you. I sorry, just top of my head. But we losing so many people. It's hard to keep track. Between season 2 and 3, we've lost a lot of people. Either retiring, going to a new game, being a streamer. Like, that's a terrible sign on Blizzard's part. Like, it's just terrible. You can't allow that to happen when you're in season 3 of what's supposed to be and what was projected to be a major esport.
Well, projected by Blizzard.
I had high hopes for it.
I'm still disappointed in, Blizzard, because they killed my favorite game of all times. But we won't talk about that.
You want to, though.
I do, but I'm not going to. I buried that hatchet a long time ago, next to my heart and soul.
So it wasn't buried. You put it in the backyard and was like, I'm just going to keep an eye on you.
I actually taped the hatchet to my back. So in case I ever need to bury it in someone, don't worry.
Take someone else's heart for the time being to feel something, then bury that too.
It's a really bad sign for the health of the game. Viewership's been hit really hard because they switched platforms. They lost casters. They lost huge professional players to streaming other games, and now mid-season you're losing coaches every week, big players every. We're not talking about bench players or niche players. We're talking like the top. Let's see, what is he? Probably a top 2 or 3 DPS player.
Arguably, he's definitely top 5.
He might be the best DPS player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think so, but I do think he's a top 3. Might be the second best. I could see the argument for best. That's like losing Jay Jonak. If we lost him, he's considered the best support.
That's a huge blow for if we lost him. I mean,
we're just losing all our top talent to another game that's not even out. I don't understand that at all. That's a huge risk for the pro to be taking. And it looks like it was an easy choice.
The fact that risk was there and it was such an easy choice for them to make, saying what I have been doing compared to something that I have no idea about, they'd rather go with the unknown than the known because of how bad the known is. I mean, you heard from Monty and Puckett when they were talking before they left. They were upset with how Blizzard was running things. They basically were, they helped bring it to light, bring Overwatch to light, and the way they were doing things, they were not agreeing with. They're like, this is not how we want to do things. And then you hear they go to YouTube. They were averaging 60 to 100K views, and now they're barely getting like 16K. Like that's
for big matches. And can
huge.
We talk about the late game schedule? I'm not going to talk about who was casting them.
Gosh.
But I was unbelievably hyped going in for that Houston-Dallas matchup. And I had to mute it. Like, I just had to mute the audio because it was so boring. And I don't, no hate to the casters. But that's not their specialty. Those two in particular, they're like the hosts that bring in. They're the hype men to bring into a match. Don't let them sit there for 2 hours just rambling. Like, bring me two good casters. That's supposed to be your hype. It's the battle for Texas. Bring me two good casters.
That's where you get Brennan's Sideshow to cast that because they will hype that up.
Casters for a hype matchup. Don't give me the B team. And not that they're B team casters. I just don't consider them casters. I consider them producers, and I like what they do there. I really do. I just don't think they've got enough skill yet to be able to come into a hype matchup like that. Give them give them a Chinese match. Give them, let them learn
Boston
there.
versus Florida.
Let them learn in those matchups, not the super hype match of the week.
This is true.
That's where you bring the best two casters you've got on. And, you happen to lose to your best casters.
You got to eat your veggies before you get to your meats and your desserts. That's the whole point of it.
And you lose two of the arguably best casters at the beginning of the season.
And then from then
because
on,
they
it's
were
just a
upset with the way
domino
Well, I was kind of worried about it, the league period, when both of them left over creative differences when they were there when the league was built. That's concerning.
That's huge.
So, come on, Blizzard. Please don't kill another game. You've killed 8. Don't do it again.
Every game you touch. Nova, you wanna chime in? I feel like JT, if he talks anymore, he's gonna explode.
I mean, I don't have a lot to say on this topic. I can only say to Blizzard that this is a warning. I mean, you had previous warnings last season, but boy, losing top players, or one really high top player, face of actually your freaking league. I mean, you go to Overwatch League or whatever.com or whatever.
Boom, Frank Sinatra.
Exactly. I mean, if I were them, I would start doing something immediately, because I mean, like you were saying, this definitely could be a domino effect. Because if you can see players just seeing oh, hey, Sinatra, I mean, he just did for quite a bit of money. Maybe I can get a better deal than this or something like that. Blizzard, figure it out. That's all I'm gonna say.
And it's
top
sad
dog
too.
for a reason. So
it's sad because I don't know how concrete this is. I heard through the grapevine that London was thinking about just dipping too, and I was like, "What the heck is up with that?"
Excuse me.
Right? Well, we were waiting for you guys, because then you see Vancouver. They're as we know, there's a lot of issues going on with them, but they go over to the Chinese, region. They isolated themselves for 2 weeks prepping for a match. And then after those matches, they get them back to the North American region. That's a huge strain on the players.
Yep.
You can't just take them to a different part of the world for 2 weeks, in isolation for 2 weeks, just for 4 games, and then take them all the way back to the other side for the rest of the season.
Well, that comes down to they should have just kept everyone in the States. I understand they want to have this global thing, and that's great. I am so happy they want to do it. But you make a US league, and you make a Chinese league, you make a EU league, and then have them all meet for Worlds.
Yeah.
Don't make the US teams have to go all the way to China to play for a week and then come back.
Yeah.
What? Are you kidding me?
It's nice in theory, especially with the home stands, because it's like it's all over the world. If you're in Shanghai, you get to stay there for your home. If you're in Vancouver, London, Paris, international. And it's great in theory, but unfortunately, the first year that they try to implement this, the virus hits, and it just.
But it's going to be a problem no matter what. They should have just expanded their Chinese leagues, right? So Seoul, increase more there, more Korean teams, more Chinese, get like a Type A team, something like that. Some teams from Taiwan, get teams like that, build a region there, right? Get a German team, EU team.
That'd be spicy.
You have 3 leagues, right? You have the US, EU, and Chinese teams. They only play in their regions. And then the top 2 teams from those regions meet at like a world's group, and the top 3 teams, or top 4, yeah, that works too. Those teams go to this once a year, and the top 4 teams from each region play. That way you don't have to travel across the world. You can still have teams in Dallas and LA and homesteads there, but you're not having to travel halfway around the world to play an Overwatch League game and then go home.
And it's honestly much better because most pros do that. You see Halo, Call of Duty, CSGO, everyone does it. And like I said, like Overwatch is doing something different. It's interesting. It's nice on paper, but nothing has been working out. And especially with the creative differences from what we've seen, from players leaving. And if honestly their star player leaves, you have another, he's not a face, but Baby Bay is a top player. He's possibly leaving. You have Vancouver, almost the entire roster wanting to leave the team itself. You had the casters before the season even started leave. Like, this is terrible news.
It sounds like there's like a poison in the system, and it's just spreading throughout the system.
And a lot of people just are falling out of love with the game.
Well, that's because they're having to play too much. Like, the off season's good for them, but now that they're not, because they're having to travel now, but they're having to prepare for so many different teams. And if the homesteads were open, they would have to be traveling on top of all that.
And they only have a week to prepare because of hero pools.
Yeah, so you get a week to prepare for a whole new meta every week, and you have to fly to China. What?
Being paid $5,000 a month.
Allegedly.
Which, it'd be worse if it was worse than that. Like, that would be terrible.
I don't know. That's just terrible. That's not great. I do enjoy the off season, but I think players need more. I'm player sided on this one. They need more things going their way.
100%. And we're not even talking about contenders. Like, contenders is cool, but you get no recognition for that. And that's just another full topic on its own there. But
I forget that even exists.
Exactly. That's the worst thing too. When you have players like Sinatra, Baby Bay, Jinmu. Why do I keep saying Jinmu? It's Jay Johnny. God bless America. People like them just leaving or wanting to leave. That's where contenders needs to be implemented. They need to be just as big as Overwatch League, and they get no recognition. None. Zero. I forgot they existed up until before the season started. I was like, what the heck is contenders? Is that like an amateur league? It's sad. Bad news for the Overwatch League. Let us know your thoughts though in the comments. Complain, cry. We're there. We'll give you hugs. Like Facebook, they have the hug emojis now. We'll do that. We'll give you one of those hugs, virtual, social distancing.
I won't.
He won't. I will. But that's gonna wrap it up here. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, check our D&D vids. That's actually a little bit more exciting than this video. It's kind of depressing. But I'm Captain Zeus, followed by JT Noverburst. We'll see you guys later. Sad face.